that I am the true Hebrew, the people of God. What was the mind-blowing experience? That I found out that I am Negro, therefore I'm part of the Igbo tribe, therefore I am the original family of, no, original God's people, the Israelites, the Hebrews that God set apart from everybody on earth, gave us land.
My people haters up in Christianity church since a baby. Growing up in that sin, but they ain't know that's how they raised me. They got lied to, then passed the lie to the baby. The devil made me quote that lie like it was thrown from Brady. Pastor worrying about his Mercedes. Preach you gon' get blessed without the law, end up in Hades. Go and read 1 John 3 and 22. Proverbs 28 and 9, the precept it too. Put on that dress, you a queen, you a lady. Wrap up your head, you a secret like the 80s. Matter of fact, you the apple of his eye. If they ain't trying to save your soul, let them fly. I'm a king, but I'm a servant to the Father. Get on my knees, I kiss my hands like it's his feet. Keeping commandments, they like what happened to me. I was blind, Carl, now I can see. He woke us up, he touched me and he touched Brie. But Reba Root 228, that really did it. We was crying at the table, I admit it. Go repent, we gotta ask him for forgiveness. For our sins and our ancestors too. You have not chosen me, I chosen you. We need to go out in the world, better food. 3 John 1 and 4, tell me what it do to you. Sunday morning, missing my mama sing. For the Father, I give up everything. And still my mama, I'm an honor, I'm a king. If you ain't strong, don't you jump up in this ring. I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. And your sons and daughters, they gon' prophesy. Hey, that scripture right here, right in your eyes. You know I love you, I just want my people right. 80 years old, you still call yourself a color. If I don't tell you who you is, I ain't your brother. In them churches, they be screaming hallelujah. But they ain't gonna tell you that you're from the tribe of Judah.
You black people that was stolen from Africa to America, that you don't know who you are, but you are the children of Yahweh, the children of Israel, and I'm telling you, you have to come back to your homeland, here to Zion, to Jerusalem, because us the Gentiles, we do need you. We need you to come and pray because you are our saviors. You're the one that was chosen by Yahweh to live in this land, not the Jewish people, it's you.
With your broke ass.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election for trustee. I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Term is 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Okay, next.
A bullshit. A bullshit.
Let's go. Blessings, blessings. Thank you guys for having patience. Let me get that off of the screen. Welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. I'm here trying to buy time. I always got to tell on myself, but I haven't been playing my Hebrew music in the beginning. I know a lot of people are probably not into that, but because today is Friday and tomorrow is the Sabbath, I always got to drop some subliminals for the people. Take it or leave it. So today we're going to do a semi-roundtable highlighting some issues in Dolton and Thornton. And I want to start this broadcast off before our guests get into the room with a flashback of what happened at the Dolton meeting. I do believe that there is so much chaos that goes on that a lot of things get pushed under the table. But I did hear people talk about this particular resident. So what we're going to do is do a quick flashback on the Dolton last meeting, and we're going to show two residents. One is Dinesh. He is running for trustee, and the other one is another resident who has a story about the Dolton police. Okay, blessings to you, Kappa. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the audience. You already know, keep your eyes on the trolls. Let's go. So we're gonna listen to this, and I want you guys to know that he is running for trustee in Thornton. So please be aware and keep your eyes out for Mr. Dinasha, if I'm saying his name correctly. I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. It's Dinasha. Let's play this. Yeah, I was right.
Actually announcing I'm running for trustee of Dolton before knowing anything about anything going on in this place. From people asking me why am I running, to certain folks a part of this administration, some people in the media. At the end of the day, nobody asked me about the people of Dolton. Nobody. Nobody asked me about the people that's in the middle of all the back and forth. It's not that people don't know their roles. It's not that people don't understand what to expect from an administration, and that the administration don't understand what the people need. There's plans out there, that's wonderful plans, but where's the execution? When I came to Dolton and moved here, I moved here for a peace of mind. I moved here because it's better than the west side of Chicago where I grew up at in the South Austin area. I got a yard in the front and the back. I got neighbors that speak to me. And at the end of the day, as a Marine that retired after 20 years of service and taking care of everybody all over the world, I said, you know what, let me be a part of my community. And there's administrations, some folk in the public are asking me why. Why am I doing this? At the end of the day, dog needs a good shepherd. And as sheep need to be led. And at the end of the day, you can't be a wolf and a shepherd. You got to make a choice. And so I'm standing here making a choice. I don't have a court to convict anybody in, and I dang sure ain't got no hell to help to put anybody in. So at the end of the day, we opened up with prayer. How long are we going to stay in that lane doing the right thing for the right people?
You know, they try to hit me with a commercial, but he's saying some real stuff.
I'm Dinasha Harrison, and I'm running for trustee of Dolton. Whether you vote for me or you don't, whoever the best person is, the people of Dolton needs to win. I'll support whoever supports the people of Dolton. If I get the seat, great. If I don't, great. Why? Because it ain't about me or about them. It's about the people. And when somebody stands up and moves forward with that, then Dolton will be a better place to be in.
All right, so that was one of the things that I think went over people's head, because a lot of people are like, whatever, whoever he is. But I agree with a lot of his sentiments. And the main thing that I agree with, which I have been pushing for the beginning, is that the most important person in this whole thing, I know y'all believe it's Hinyard. I know you believe it's Hinyard, but it's actually the people of Dolton and Thornton. They are suffering financially, mentally, spiritually, and socially, and even more, okay, from this situation. So this is another resident who made their commentary that I think was overlooked. And I really think it's important because, as you can see, myself, I really got my eyes on what's going on in Dolton as far as the police. Okay. And there is some shady business still going on. Okay. So let's just listen to this young lady's story in detail, because it sounds pretty horrific. And that night I mentioned, please be on the lookout for a possible lawsuit, because her story sounds similar to the last lawsuit that we went over with Yvette Towen. Okay. So if you remember that, or if you don't, just go back and listen. But I want you guys to listen to her story.
Hello, everyone. I actually came today not to talk to the board, but to talk to the residents. Y'all may remember me. Last year in August, I came here and I told you all about how Dolton police used excessive force, came into my house without a search warrant, no imminent danger, and my consent. without any of those three things and arrested me, charging me with home invasion and other malicious charges in my own home. At that very meeting, I was told by y'all's mayor, I'm gonna make you whole. There was a meeting arranged for me between what was supposed to be the mayor and Louis Lacey. When I get to this meeting, the only person that was there was Louis Lacey. Nothing in my mind would have me have a meeting with Louis Lacey. Absolutely not. I respectfully declined the meeting. I thank the mayor for her time. When I went to court, I got arraigned on 4 additional malicious charges.
Wow.
Oh, let's talk about while I was in jail. I was held for 50 hours before I was even charged. Jeffrey DeVries reported my car stolen, illegally reported my car stolen. Of course, he couldn't put my car under an investigation hold because I was not charged with anything. But he's so intelligent that he forgot to change it from stolen to under an investigation hold. I got pulled over by neighborhood police, swarming me, telling me that my car was stolen. It's all on their body camera.
Wow.
They're intentionally torturing me. They let these people back into my house knowing I had full possession. What did they do? Vandalize my house. $50,000 worth of damage. $50,000 worth of damage that came out of my pocket. My money. Mine. Me and my kids were homeless for an additional 10 months because of these people. I filed a civil lawsuit. They ignore it. They don't even come to court. Oh, so screw me, huh? Forget what I'm going through at the hands of these officers. Let's name them. Monaghan, Malone, let's not, please, let's not forget Morgan. And then we got Townsend. 4 out of the 5 officers have civil complaints against them. 4 out of the 5. I myself never had a felony in my life. Ever. So I go to court, they never show up. The case goes to prove up. The attorney will confirm, just because your case goes to prove up does not mean that you will be granted a judgment. A federal judge ruled in my favor and gave me a default judgment. I want to believe that Jesus himself delivered that information to these attorneys because 2 hours later I had an email about an appearance. Listen, I'm not here to fight against my community. I am the community. Y'all did this to me.
Do you want to see how much money you're eligible for? If you
Okay, all right, y'all know I'm taking notes. Okay, we got to go over this in detail.
were in a car crash within the last 2 years.
3 minutes are up and I will see y'all in court. I'll say that again.
Oh my God. Okay, let me just put. I don't know her name. Let me put her on the screen because she deserved the floor for everything she have went through. Can we do a little rundown? Can we just do a little rundown of how crooked this whole situation sounds? First, she said that, okay, they ran into her home. I don't know what was the reason, but they went into her home allegedly without a search warrant, okay? These are the practices of Dolton police, okay? And she said she reported this in August. This is only December. So this maybe had just happened. So I'm just saying maybe because I don't have definitive dates, but it's still going on. So they went into her home without a warrant. They charged her with home invasion, and I'm not really understanding how that they go about doing that. Then they hold her in jail for 50 hours. Okay, that's 2 days and a half. 2 days and a half. That is an unlawful confinement. Do you know that? That's unlawful confinement. And they did not charge her until after. Then they put her, they didn't charge her until 50 hours later with 4 more charges. This is the tactics that is happening to the residents of Dolton. I'm bringing this up because these are the things that you guys may need to hone on to, because she lost thousands of dollars in property damage, had to be in jail for 2.5 days. God knows if she didn't lose her job. Then we're going to move on to say this. This is how crooked the system is, because our guest is in the background. So we're going to bring our guest on because this show is actually for her. But this is a foundation to catapult into her particular situation. She get a judgment from a federal judge, like she said, by the blood of Jesus. Walk away and then have another hearing date for the same case. She said that they didn't show up for court repeatedly. That's highlighting that it's wasting residents' money on litigation, and it's highlighting that some crooked business may be happening in the court. That's why I told you guys, you have to kind of have an expansive mind and look all around the things, because it's not just a one track. Especially when we go into this tenure thing, not only the stance that we talk about, but these judges and these lawyers be a little crooked. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take this off the screen, because I wanted this to be an introduction to what's going on in Dolton. This particular case, person that we're bringing on, I'm not going to say person, let's see, because you know her and I know her and I love her. Her name is Miss Carver. Okay. I'm going to bring Miss Carver on the stage. Now, the goal tonight is for me to take a whole glass of shut up and allow Miss Carver to speak wholeheartedly about what she has gone through. She's going to disclose what she wants, because I felt like it is not my position to disclose what I know. And I'm gonna just take it from there. Hey, beautiful. I'm just gonna sit back and give you the floor. How are you? You mute. Hit your mic.
There we go.
All right.
Blessings. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. Welcome.
Thank
everybody.
You. Thank you.
And again,
I truly appreciate everybody's love and support always.
The floor is yours. This is a free, open table. I want you to express yourself. Tell them where you're at, how you feel about your situation, the litigation, whatever it is for you.
Well, as far as things go, no, nothing makes this right. The only thing that makes this right is those cops having to have some type of repercussion. And that's what we've been working on. That's what you've been helping me with, and you're doing a great job, hunting these guys down and seeing what type of information we can get. And, so you've been really an awesome help with that. I appreciate it.
You have to tell them it's not about me, it's about you. I want them to.
But I do appreciate that. I love the way your mind works when it comes to getting this information. So yeah, absolutely. So right now, as far as the litigation goes, there was a settlement, a minimal amount. You probably heard it on the when they voted for it during the last meeting in Dolton. Sucks. We were being told that we would never see a jury. And really, that was the only way to get anything, from anything heard on our side was to see a jury. What I found out in the mediation is it didn't matter what was happening with her, didn't matter what she was going through. All that matters is what those officers assumed at that time. And so everything they said that they were justified in doing whatever happened, So this is coming from the attorney, their attorney, of course, as well as the judge that was mediating it. So it was like, okay, you know what? I don't really give a damn about the money anyway. So whatever they're going to settle for, let's just do that. And I'll keep on my merry way and do what I was doing and continue to try to get something done about these cops, whether I chase him from city to city until he's no longer hireable. If we can get his license revoked, we'll do that. But that's the only way justice is going to come. Justice doesn't come from money.
Exactly. Let's backtrack. Exactly. I just want to backtrack because I want to know, are you comfortable with sharing some information related to the deposition and how the officers carried themselves and the things that they were saying in the deposition?
Well, The first thing that stood out to me, and with Carlton, and he's the actual shooter, with his deposition, is that he repeated the line, I do not recall, I cannot recall. I'd say more than 50 times. I'd still love to see the transcript of that, and we can work on trying to get that too. But literally, and from Perez, the thing that stood out there is that he doesn't even remember the name of the first person he killed. And I would think that if this is the first time you've killed someone, and I'm just, I've never been close to anything like it, so I can't. If you have guilt or conscious about it, I think you'd want to know that person's name. I think you'd want to know how many kids they had. I think that if you have any type of guilt about it, any type of just regret, like, I wish I didn't have to do this. But the way this officer's brain works, it almost goes there first, because 4 months later, he killed another person after his first, well, let's say his first known kill. He killed another person. And within a couple years, you have the guys in the car that Lacey and he continued chasing when they said to stop the chase, right?
Mhm.
So that was that's that $33.5 million case. So that case, and then of course with Alexis, and then after that, he shot another guy actually across the street from where they killed Alexis. So his record is horrible. Yeah, that guy, his record is horrible. And when I tell you these men are like 6'3", 320 pounds, like these are big guys against a 100-pound size 0 19-year-old.
So look, this is what I wanted to ask you, because I just happened to been going through the papers and getting everything in order, and I have found the Kim Fox, her decision on Dante Johnson. Is that the first person that he
That is
live in 2016? Okay, so we're going to
correct.
go into the Dante Johnson case in detail later on next week, but this is the gentleman that was not allegedly, but according to what I'm reading, it says Johnson turned and ran, and officer Sheehan fired 2 additional shots. That's after Perez shot him too. So Johnson began to remove the officer Sheehan. I guess they were having some struggle. We're going to get into it, y'all, to get into detail.
And I believe in that case, the thing that stood out there, that the witness who was, okay, let's see if I can say this correctly. The victim of Dante, right? That's his name?
Yeah.
Okay, so the young man that Dante was actively robbing said that Dante never turned towards the officers, immediately started to run, never raised a gun. Now, this is the man that was getting robbed by this guy. And he took his side when it came to whether this happened the right way. He said that the decedent never raised a gun towards the officer, and that the decedent turned to run, and they shot him in his back. So yeah, that's questionable, and I get it. He was in the act of a robbery. It's going to be considered justified, but he was actually running from the officer, so he was proposed no threat to anyone at that point.
Exactly, and that's a time where they should be retrieving, according to what I've been reading in the Illinois State Police Manual of Conduct.
Mhm.
But what that goes to say, what I was trying to bring out of that was what you were suggesting, that this man has psychopathic tendencies, and it's not just this man. The reason why I think he does have this is because, like you say, when you do something, not only that if you're not reprimanded, you don't get in trouble for it, you get emboldened, but your first kill, and then you are how you say, basically gratified in that position, because I know later on he ended up making a little bit more money from some of the things that I was looking at, you know. So this is highlighting, and the reason why we're bringing this up is because the resident of Dolton is still suffering from officers just like Officer Perez. And the reason why I want you guys
And Dalton is still paying for him.
yeah.
While he's no longer there, he's running around to these other departments. They're still paying to clean up his mess.
Well, yes, definitely through the lawsuits, because it wasn't just yours. It was actually the lawsuit that was connected to Miss Williams, which to her First Amendment right, unlawful arrest, the same thing that we were just showing. So this is something that I do believe, especially because it's election time. And you're part of Thornton as well. Are you part of Thornton?
I'm not.
Okay, I just wanted to make.
I'm right. Thankfully, I'm right. Right across. I'm about 3 blocks off the border.
But regardless of the situation, these are some of the things that we have to continue to bring to our public officials, you know, forefront. So, okay, you talked about a little bit about the deposition. Is there anything more about the deposition that you feel you want to share with the people as far as going through a case like yours, being subjected to?
They don't care. They don't care. Nobody cares. To them, it's just another one. Like, they've been through this over and over and over again. This is your first time going through it. This is, to you, this is devastating. It's an atomic bomb that's been set off in your world, and there's no rectifying it. There's no way to fix it. There is no buying it back. There's no going back in time. I literally don't get to see her again for the rest of my life. I gotta die, you know. And so this is something you live with every day. And you know, some days I get through. The other days I, you know, don't want to get out of the bed. And I'll spend 2 years there, 2.5, almost 3, before I went back to work. I almost lost everything behind this. I'm struggling to keep what I have left, you know. But I've done it before and I'll do it again, you know.
I do want to say this. I want you guys to feel Miss Carver, because Miss Carver, I believe it was a long time that, you know, she got support, but she wasn't able to push through this. And right now, to see where she's at, it brings so much joy to my life, because I know that you are moving forward, especially compared to our first interview where you talked about, you know, you felt like you was about to lose your home. You didn't complete the program in school that you were in because you were just really down and out. Could you update the people a little bit about that? Because you did share it, and I know that we pushing and striving.
We going. Well, in May of 21, I had finished my post-grad degree. It's a board certified behavior analyst. But with that degree comes a 2,000-hour practicum that I was to begin. I hadn't been in the field for a few years because I owned my own company, and I hired people to do that job. But it is the highest job in my business other than CEO. So I decided that instead of paying someone else what I have to pay them, that I'd do it myself, you know. So I did get the degree then, but I didn't do the hours. I was scheduled to start my hours in September of 21. After July of 21, I probably didn't get out the bed again until I didn't, you know, not really until April of 24. You know, my mind was consumed with not only what happened, but the way that it happened, and the stories that were told about what happened that evening just truly disturbed me. And I'm looking at the video that they've released, and I see no dragging. I see no officer, you know, being aimed at. What I saw was a scared little girl, you know, trying to stand up for herself, telling the officer she wasn't dressed. And next thing you know, he's punching her. And then this other guy climbs into my vehicle, into my car, and sits directly next to my daughter in the seat. There's no dragging. He's literally sitting next to her. And he put 7 bullets in her and 2 in her head. Those were those kill shots. Who's going to take the kill shot?
And that was the gentleman inside. I just want to clarify who she's talking about. I don't have his picture up because we have not been in direct pursuit of him.
He's not back.
Not yet. Okay, but we want to clarify who he is. He is Officer Carlton.
Yep, Jared Carlton.
Jared Carlton, who actually jumped in the vehicle, was in the vehicle, and administered the 7 shots. Now, in the deposition, allegedly, he keeps saying that he was being dragged. So I want you guys to understand how this works. And
you're being drugged down the street and shooting at the same time, like he's Terminator.
Exactly. But this is the thing, from that perspective, we know that it's totally ridiculous. But then this same theory was presented to that mediation judge.
Yes.
And nobody, again, just like in the Dolton police report, didn't see the inconsistencies in the damage to him and his statements. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm highlighting that because I want you guys to see the higher level of corruption that may be going on. Because what made me feel away when I was hearing a deposition, you can hear cops lie, whatever. People, they're going to lie because they were in it. But when you have a judge and a lawyer from the opposition basically pushing you like, well, no, don't go to trial, don't go to trial. Basically, you're just not going to win. It's not going to win. That says something.
Well, yeah, it's going to go to summary judgment and go before another guy like the judge in front of me. And the judge in front of me, no matter how often we brought up the lies that were told or the inconsistencies in their statements, he said, well, he has the injuries to prove it. Okay, those injuries that he caused himself, they definitely were not caused by being drugged. What I believe caused the injury was when she crashed into the building and that roof fell on top of his side of the vehicle. Again, I've seen my vehicle since then. That side was crushed, not her side.
Hold on. Keldon, but while you talk about the vehicles, we're going to have to highlight Dolton Police real quick. Can you please remind the people what they did to the vehicle and how they informed you of the incident? Let's just highlight the amazing Dolton Police in this situation.
Well, once she pulled off and the other officer was in the car, once he started shooting, the police on the scene started firing at the vehicle.
That was Perez.
They came to my door that morning about 6:30 in the morning. And, you know, it's like, do you own this vehicle? Yes. Was your daughter Alexis driving the vehicle? Yes. Well, there's been an incident where there was a crash and a shooting, and I'm sorry to inform you that her body is being transported to the morgue. My God.
I have to
Unbelievable.
Because I think that sends chills through my body and your body. Because I can imagine what you went through to open that door and get that brought to you.
I thought it was her. I was so mad because she didn't show up at curfew, and I locked her out the house. I locked one door. One of the locks, she has a code and could get in, but if I lock the bottom, she doesn't have the key. So right about 1 o'clock, I was mad. She missed curfew. I locked the door on her. So I get up to the banging, the police banging on your door. Well, my child banged like that anyway. She banged on the door that way. So I'm going, wait a minute, because I'm coming down the stairs all slow, bad knees, and it's first thing in the morning. So I'm thinking it's her, and I'm yelling, wait a minute, I'm coming, damn it, And I get to the door and I don't see her glasses and her ponytail. She would turn her head and look in the door and try to see me coming, but you see these glasses pressed against the window. And instead I see these 2 shoulders. And it's like, the hell is this, So again, I opened the door and those words were exchanged. And then they asked me, I said, oh my God, what happened? And they said there was a crash and a shooting, and they didn't know what had killed her. They gave me a card to follow up with a detective. Asked me if anyone was home. At the time, it was just me and her little brother. He was 8. Um, and what's amazing on that day is probably the first time I'd ever seen my son sleep that late. He didn't get up till about 1 o'clock that afternoon. And he never slept like that. So, but there was a lot of stuff going on. And, like I said, he's autistic. So a lot of it he wouldn't have understood. So anyhow, they have me sign over my car into evidence. They tell me they don't know what happened, have me sign over my car. I don't think they were 2 blocks away before it was all over the news. But the story on the news was naked woman with a gun, irate because stores closed, drags officers. Like, it was like they painted her in the most horrific. And I'm hearing this story on the news. They hadn't released her name just yet, but I'm hearing the story on the news and I'm ignoring it. I'm trying to still find out what happened to my daughter. And the woman they're talking about, that wasn't my kid. There was no way that was mine they were talking about. So when I realized that that's who they're talking about, now we need to see video. I need to see that. Because, see, I know this about my daughter. When she's afraid, she freezes. She's in one position until something happened. And so I kept asking my aunt, what, I know Lexi, she freezes. What unfroze her? Because you physically got to go grab her. The girl has fallen in a lake, watched our dog get beat up, and she literally just freezes. And tears are streaming, and she's frozen, and the dog is getting his butt whooped. And I'm right there. She was in the backyard, in our backyard, playing with the dog. And another dog comes from another yard and starts beating up our dog. And she's just standing there. And I'm hearing the scuffle outside, and I go out there, and she's just froze with tears streaming. And I'm like, Lexi, this is when you run, And I pull her in the house and get a broom and, get the dogs. And so, like I said, I know my daughter's reaction. Her fight or flight is broken. She freezes. So I kept asking, what unfroze her? What unfroze her? So when we finally see the video, those 2 punches, that's what made her move. Because Lexi will be stuck. She'd be stuck. But those punches froze her as far as her own moving to defend herself, And at what point do we get to defend ourselves?
I mean, when you say to me that basically both of these elected officials, or the lawyer and the judge, basically saying because she pulled her hand away from him after he was punching her, that was considered.
Well, he grabbed her to pull her out the car, and she pushed his hand off of hers.
Yeah.
So when she pushed his hand off of hers, they said that they were allowed to exert as much force as they wanted.
And honestly, I can't even see how all of this maneuvering happened when it was such a little space and this man's hand was literally coming down like this, so.
Right. Yeah. He's in that little bitty space telling her to get out the car.
Yeah, that's what's amazing to me, that these people in these positions who have more than critical thinking skills, they are specialized in being judges, lawyer, that can, and it's not cognitive dissonance, because I'm not going to make any excuses. I really believe can be so corrupt in their way of thinking, in their disregard for the community. And that's why I stress that people, you have to understand your system. You have to know who you're dealing with. These people are connected. It was a lot. Honestly, what I've been saying in the background subliminally about your lawyer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm I love you, girl, but you were going to talk to somebody else, because the way people talk and move. The way he was so passive in a way, and seeing how small Illinois is. What did they just say when it comes to representation for the election? I don't know if you saw it, but it's only a few lawyers, and it's such few that is becoming a conflict of interest, because they representing one that's getting put off and one that's trying to get the person put off. So you see, it's happening in your case as well, and this is what the people are suffering. So All right, so we talked about the deposition. We gave them an update on Perez. They know what we're doing with Perez. We keep them update. Carlton is still on the books right now as far as being on medical leave. So Dolton, you are paying for this officer who, since this incident, is home chilling. After he self-traumatized himself by jumping in the car and shooting a young girl. So I just want you guys to be aware of that these may be some of the things you want to address. I don't know if you remember a while ago, I went over a few cases that highlight hiring officers that wasn't certified, not they wasn't credentialed properly. So now moving forward, we're talking about credentials, and we looked into Perez credentials. He's actually kept his stuff up to date and took his extra courses just to get himself to Indiana. So let's get the people up to date to where we're at, because we have been chasing one of the officers, because this man, we talked about his first shot. He has about 4 or 5 more killings. We're gonna put that in the timeline for you as time go on. But now he moves to another state. So you tell me what you have experienced in Indiana versus Dolton, because I think they both have been dismissive to your claim.
Oh, absolutely.
And you should express that.
I think Oak Forest was most responsive. Some the community doesn't want him there, whether he was hired by the chief of police, and the mayor doesn't know what's in his jacket, because those things don't make it if they're not reprimanded. All it takes is a quick Google search of this guy's name, though, and you'll find all of the stuff that he's been involved in. So basically, my trip to Munster, I will say, it was like walking into a country western bar and all the music stops and everybody looks and like, what are you doing here?
Oh, Lord.
So my granddaughter goes to school in that community. I own a business in that community. I've been a part of that community since I was a kid, So we go up, we speak. I tell them about the incidents with him, and everybody standoffish, a couple people showed some concern. Once I started talking, we had those leaflets, those flyers. And once I started talking, then they wanted to see the flyers.
Second time or the first time?
I've only been there once so far. But we do plan on going back, because remember, we want to go ahead and do the FOIA and see if there's been any change. And if not, we'll go ahead and go back to the next meeting or protest, But yeah, they were really like, thank you for informing us. And then my uncle got up and spoke, and they were much more receptive to Uncle Terry. Even gave him their condolences.
And you don't want to say why?
Well, my Uncle Terry is white. Well, he's Native American.
He was a white man,
but he does look white.
He's an amazing person. That's my uncle.
Yeah, he's an awesome uncle. That's my roadie.
I think to highlight that on both.
Yeah, no, they were like Mount Rushmore, and they kind of thanked me. But when he stood and he talked about what Alexis meant to him, they expressed their condolences. And, then he sits down next to me, and the people in front of me turn around and, oh, I'm so sorry. But they're really speaking to him. A few people, we tried to hand them the leaflet, and they're like, no, thank you, So yeah, that one's going to be a little tougher.
And this is what I want to express to the audience. The reason why we're sharing this with you, because we want you to see and feel what Miss Carver is going through, and other victims that have to go through this gauntlet, have to go through this process. There's a lot of people who Miss Carver have met who've told me about that had their kids put in a situation where they were wrongfully categorized to look like the villain, and now they have
all
to
of them.
All of them,
unless it's blatant. All of them.
But you saw what they had to go through with George Floyd,
and we saw that.
So,
we saw that, like,
there's a
We saw
lot.
that happen real time.
Exactly, exactly. But there's a lot that goes into the thin line between blue, like whatever they in the people. So I want
Mhm.
to highlight that because it becomes a danger. It becomes a danger to us in the community as we talk about these people become bolden, and then you have this person going to another community, and mom is still getting disregarded from a different perspective. That's what really makes me, well, not totally disregarded, because but they still hired him because
Yeah.
this
Oh,
they
absolutely.
I'm gonna say disregard because before she showed up, I made an inquiry, as I mentioned. I have the proof. They said no because she was going to show up that month. I said, hey, don't go because they say he don't work there. Something made me go and get in contact again. They said they hired him October 13th. I got my information October 3rd from them. They
Right.
on and still hired this man.
So they knew then. They knew then. They
They
had gotten the letters and the emails, and so they knew when they hired him who he was. But
and
but my question is this: if they hadn't hired him already, how did we know that he was there? Because the word got to us that he was there already, and they kept saying no, but then he pops up a few days after Euphoria, the information.
yeah.
Now all of a sudden he goes from not working there to working there, and within a few days.
Well, I did verify as of that week that he had no working hours yet.
Mm-hmm.
God be the glory. And we already know what we're about to do, cause the ruckus. And I don't think they really want that ruckus to
They
come down.
don't.
So this is what actually the people have to suffer when being in this particular situation. Not only did she have to suffer, I told you, mentally, physically, spiritually, she having, sometimes, like I said, I look at your posts and it hits me even harder because you mourn almost every other day of the week or every day of the week publicly. And it really hit me the other day, like, mom is really pushing through something so hard that many of us can't even.
Can't fathom.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I can't because you see me. I would try to wipe my tears because I'm an empath.
But I was gonna say, we've watched movies and watched things where that situation or something tugs at your heart. Um, some people don't have that.
And that's what we're seeing, and that's what I want people to realize. And a
People
lot of
don't
people,
have that.
those been trained not to have it. That's a
And
lot of.
some of them really don't have it when it comes in our color.
Thank you. In our color and in our capacity as citizens.
Yeah.
As citizens, we're not looked at as valuable. But if you're a vote, you're a person that they're going to tell you what to do, how to do it, and you just accept it. That's just the way it is, and that's all around the board. That judge probably was elected to his position. I don't know how they do that, but the power is in the people to pay attention to the way that these elected officials actually maneuver, not what they present, a nice picture, going out to little events, is the things that they actually do and who they are connected to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, is there anything else you want to share? Because I have I'm gonna, at the end of the broadcast, when you're done, I'm gonna basically show them the letter that I wrote to Kim Fox, after her investigation. We are doing some more correspondence with these individuals, as giving them a heads up, as I mentioned to you, that I am looking for a judicial review because they are
Mm-hmm.
fighting me hardcore on the Illinois State Police report, highlighting that this case is 2 years old, 3 years old since they made the determination. So that's telling me that there is something that they're trying to hide. That's why it's so important for us to
They've been hiding everything from the beginning. Look at how it went with the police report, with me attempting to just get the police report from that evening. They wouldn't turn it over to me. They told me I had to speak to a detective.
Yep, that's what you told me. And
Even though I had tried to FOIA it before, and I called and, hey, how do I get a copy of this police report? What do I need to do? Well, what is it for? I told her. She says, well, you have to speak to a detective for that. When do you have to speak to a detective to get a police report? You go up to the police station, they give it to you, you pay whatever amount.
Exactly. Look, they gave me the first one around when I called. They probably remember because I called. I said, "How do you make a freedom of information request for a police report?" She was like, "Oh, you can't do that." I was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "You can make a freedom request for everything." What do you mean? No, you need to come in here. Are you a citizen? Where do you live? I said, "Excuse me, man. You don't wait. First and foremost, I'm not gonna tell you where I live, but you ain't got no online platform for me to get this." I mean, the rigmarole she tried to get, and that's why I tell people sometimes
That
it's better
wasn't true.
pen to paper. Exactly. Get the
That was
right
not true.
parties involved and cite the right law. As soon as I did that, we got the report. But the Illinois State Police is working with something a little bit different because they're under the jurisdiction of Kim Fox. Mind you, the beginning of our Freedom of Information request in about the middle of August, I sent her a direct letter and let her know that we could not get the information we needed. And then that's when I got a response from the Illinois State Police basically saying that it was a delay. They needed time to pull up the information, and we've been getting a rigmarole. Now we're sharing this with you guys so you guys can understand what we go through because we don't want citizens to go through this. This is why I say everything I say is for the people, for you to liberate yourself, for you to understand what's happening in real time with Cara. So on the good end of this, I have to report. I watch you and I see the light in you. I see the brightness that's coming off. The I call it the joy of the Lord. You know, everybody, you know, the joy of the Lord just coming through, and you every day striving. I hear good things are going on. I want you guys to pray for Miss Cara because we continue forward with this. She's gonna go out there. I pray I could go out there, and kick monsters' butt. So before that happens,
they're gonna get tired of me.
You need to give me a flyer or something if there's other people that want to come up and show out with you.
Absolutely.
That is definitely we recommend. And the reason why we recommend this is not just because it's Dolton residents. This is a national issue when it comes to police are behaving towards us. They're going to get qualified immunity under Trump, and we're going to be asked out.
They already have it.
Pretty much. Okay, it's true.
That was another thing that they cited. Like, well, qualified immunity is you know it's blanketed. You know, so like we said, even when it's blatant, you can't always get a conviction.
You see what I'm saying?
And a lot of these convictions are very, very short. Like, look at the case with Dante Wright. I believe that officer got 2 years. That's it. Meanwhile, Katie still doesn't have her son. Aubrey still doesn't have his son.
Look, hold on. I want to share something interesting with you guys because this is not only with I gotta I'm telling on the police. I watched something interesting. They call these things ghost guns. And what ended up happening is that these are not only ghost guns, but is another category where these guns that the regular citizens can't get and only sheriffs and officers can get them. This is not allegedly. There is this national issue going on in about 15 states where officers are getting these guns and selling them to the public. I mean, little things that can like grenades, okay? And guess what? Either they don't investigate it in a point that is a crime, they just reprimand the officer, or in one case where the officer was just arrested, he is fighting back the case arrogantly after he got caught selling over 500 guns and signing over 80 documents falsely. This is what I'm trying to show you guys. Like, it goes more than just this. It's a lot that goes on in the background that affects us. So now there are guns that's not supposed to be in the average person's hand, and they were selling it to criminals, and it's right back in our streets. So these are some of the things we really have to pay attention to.
You know, and like you mentioned earlier, a lot of these cases with these other parents, like I've met so many parents, and it really sounds the same. How they criminalize the victim, how they cover evidence, how the police basically they just get away with doing this over and over and over again. And I know a lot of people will say things like, well, if they were killing white kids, you just don't understand the rate that they're killing them too. They're not as publicized because, see, the general public would be angry with that.
Oh no, they
right?
are.
So that would be the backlash that officers would get if they saw how many white kids that they're killing. And unfortunately, because of this, like it you get to know everyone locally and abroad, that, or like not abroad, but within the states, but countrywide, that this has happened to. When I've gone to a couple of these things where parents meet up and they're coming from everywhere, from Chicago, from Louisiana, from California, from everywhere, every end of this country. This year they even had some from Australia. So the story's the same, and there is no justice in it at all. There's no justice in it. Even those officers that do go to jail, it's few, far between, and they usually get released much earlier than the time they were given.
The gentleman I was talking about only got 6 months, and he fighting it arrogantly. This is what I want to do just in the middle of this before we forget. I want to give a shout out to every single big broadcaster and little broadcaster who has brung this story out. One of the people that we have met and talked to, that I do believe they have a movement going on. This is Open All the Police Archives. This is the Sporadics. What is it, League? The Sporadics League.
I forgot what their name, what the name of the.
But basically, this
group is. But I do remember the people from the group, but I don't remember the name of it right now.
Yeah, so I talked to them, and I really, and you have always been in contact with them, and that was the thing, and I really appreciate them being there and keeping their eye on your case, as well as the Chicago Tribune. I don't know what has happened, but baby, what happened?
You know what? When what was it? When we found out, when it was confirmed that he was in Munster, I hit all those their social media pages with that flyer, that leaflet that says how many people that he killed, and I put officer, like murders coming to Munster soon, and people started, how do you know? And I showed that, but again, they were very averse. How do you know? How do you call him a killer and you have no proof? Like. Really in defense of the officer. That's what I found mostly there. So I put up my proof, but a lot of people were disenchanted by that, knowing that this officer was hired in Munster. So they were tagging different newspaper writers that they knew. And I think that's initially how it got started. So this one reporter, I think her name was Amy Lavelli, did the first story about this officer coming to Munster, and she had spoken to the police chief, and the police chief says, well, Kim Foxx never prosecuted him. And that was basically all he had to say. And then after going to Munster, there was another reporter there in Munster that covered the story, and the Tribune picked them both up.
Yep. So that was a blessing, and I want to say a shout out to the Tribune. I followed up. I was like, please, guys, thank you so much. Could y'all put this link at the bottom, please, so we can get this petition signed?
Yes.
Thank you.
So that's definitely something we want to get the petition signed. We want to sign the petition that Vivian put out to rename the ice rink.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that because I forgot to mention it. Now I have to do more research because I have been looking, but something is so weird. Someone did mention to me that ice skating ring is owned by Tiffany Henyard in her personal capacity, that it does not belong to Dolton. I have went on a tax roll extensively, looking. It's not even listed as a property on the general realtor rule list. I cannot find the tax bill connected to it to find out who's the owner. So
the village paid for it.
they pay for it, but if they pay for, you know how she allegedly money laundered her name. How does that work with getting that? If that's her property, so that's something I just want to give y'all a heads up.
Wow,
that's something that I meant
got
to
it. Yep, keep looking into it.
I give you a heads up. But that's what I looked into. And I was really bugging myself yesterday looking to find it on a tax roll. And I mean, I went every other property on tax roll except for that. And I'm like, well, if it's a government building, it should still be there.
It should be there. Yeah, yeah. So
we're
who
going
knows
to about that. So that also, I do want to clarify, because how do you think this petition is going to be processed? Because I'm going to tell you how I'm going to process these signatures, because realistically, we have to get these people to move. Now, I'm going to make it a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know how you feel, but if this petition was signed by over 1,000 people, who does it get presented to in Dolton? How do they go about actually, getting this property renamed if it was realistic? If it is connected to Dolton, are those steps that has already been addressed by the person who started the petition? I have
not at all. We're still collecting signatures, but I believe at that point she wants to present it to the board and make the request.
But I think y'all at 1,000.
We are. Somewhere around there.
Okay, so that is something I want you guys to be aware of, because I'm non-biased here. So this is something that's supposed to be presented to the board, the trustees of Dolton, in regards to that skating rink being changed. So there's two factors that we need. Well, one, is it actually owned by Dolton? That's the question. That's something I need to verify. Maybe they can tell you. And what is the process of actually doing it? And between me and you, I mean, not between me and you, how do you feel? Do you feel like, it's not between, because we're on the public platform, do you feel like the trustees will move forward to actually do this?
I'm not sure. Again, it was something that was started by somebody else, and actually she started it after it was echoed by many people. So it was something they brought because it was how some of the residents of Dolton felt.
No, I started it, Cara. We already went over that. I said get the petition.
Well, absolutely you did. But several people had made that suggestion. But that's why I said I feel like it's not something that should come from me, though. You
see how Cara loved me? Y'all see how I still be like, I love you. She be like, "You're gonna get funky, Grace. I know you're gonna
I know you be funky about stuff."
That's why I'm asking, what's the next step? Because when I think of stuff, you have gotten to know me. I may crack jokes. I may
very thorough.
Yeah, so that's how I want to put that out there, that it is something that the trustees should look at now and after the elections. The ones that
absolutely,
because this is serious. Because
it
I'm
is.
Tell you guys, I'm not going to with Dolton police. I don't think that I'm going to stop.
I was about to say, now the one petition that needs to pick up traction is the one for Perez. The one you absolutely started. We need that needs to pick up traction.
Yeah, so I'm grateful, and at this point, I think we had 100 signatures. I don't know nobody. I'll be in the house all the time, but we're making traction. So I do have a few residents that are saying that they're going to start passing it out for me. There are people who is, starting, but I what I do? I go on God's time. So I know about time those signatures get to that point that I'll already be in correspondence with these bodies, and they'll already get a taste of what the rock is cooking. And then I'm going to have all of those signatures come behind. So just know I'm systematically thinking, and I pray you guys will just fall in line, share it. Anyone across the whole United States can.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And you guys need to look at that website. And if you got petitions and things that you want to sign up for, that is a great website, because it's very universal. And it seemed like people just go on there and sign stuff, because I couldn't even believe I got to 100. I was happy with that. Talking about 5,000, but I got high hopes, y'all.
Yes. We got to keep pushing.
So, okay. So we did put a little pressure out there. So is there anything else you want to put out there for the audience as far as your feelings? What is yours?
Not a whole lot. Just keep praying for the family. Keep lifting Lexi's name. Share the story. Share the lies share that they lied. Don't share the lies. Got enough of that. Um, and for those who feel so insensitive that they want to make comments to me themselves about how she deserved it or how she should have got out the car, you know, uh, keep that to yourself. Keep going. You don't have to come find me to say those things to me. If you feel that way, feel that way. I get it. A lot of people do, and it's usually people that lack empathy.
Mhm. I think a lot of people.
But that is something you don't tell a mom that their child deserved it. I don't care what they did.
I know I
Keep
think a
that
lot
to
of people
yourself.
from here, the way they treat here, and that's why I keep telling people we have to monitor the way we even treat the worst people, because now you having that behavior with everyone, and they say crazy stuff to Miss Cara just because they just don't care, because it's just like we have to have some morality. I'm not with censoring, but we have to have respect, and it's so sad that as a mother, this is some of the things that.
Right. I'm going through enough. I don't need how you feel about it if you don't care. Just don't care. Don't care enough to not say anything to me. Just why?
And that is should I do I have to get the receipts, or I'll just share with them later?
You can share some. I share them with you. You can definitely share them.
About
But
them,
yeah.
the monster group.
Oh
that
yeah,
was,
they
I didn't download it.
they didn't find me.
Tell
They
me.
responded on a post, but there are people that actually come to my page or send me messages or so I try to keep my page as private as possible.
What you showed me, they were kind of combative with you the other
Oh
day.
man, yes they were.
About
Told me that it was unacceptable for me to call this man a serial killer.
Okay.
And then they're like, they had some conversation amongst each other, like, well, I read all those cases. It was justified. And I'm like, okay, let me show you the definition of a serial killer. Like, he fits the criteria, ma'am. And it's like, Cara, enough. And I'm like, huh, really? Like, it's my kid that got killed and it's enough? No, the person he killed before my daughter, that should have been enough. Person he killed before that should have been enough. The first person he killed, that should have been enough. There is never enough. Not with this one. Not until he gets, because see, again, a serial killer gets thirsty for blood. He's gotten away with this over and over again. And trust, wherever he goes, he is going to kill someone else. Do you believe that he's killed 4 people within the matter of 7 years, and then he's going to spend another 30 on the force and nobody else dies? Bullshit. Bullshit. It's gonna happen.
And everybody love that little kid. Bullshit, exactly. But I was just looking at some of it, but I wanted you to we don't have to show it. Just I want you guys to understand what she's going through. She's trying to tell the people in their town that they have a serial killer, and they like, it's enough. We don't want to hear shit. This is cognitive dissonance. This is terrible. And guess what? What she's doing, standing strong, just like you said, she's a strong woman, standing up and saying, hey, right is right, wrong is wrong. And we're going to definitely.
But the thing is that, again, I'm from that area. My mom is there. My sister is there. My brothers are there. They have to drive through the same town. I have to drive through there. I don't want him in my hometown. And see, they don't even identify with me as that being mine. Told me I wasn't even from there. I had to tell them, okay, if you don't know this doctor and you ain't, then you're not from there. At least not as far back as my family goes.
Wow.
So come on. I was born in Munster.
That's the tone. But you see how God is? God wants this man to be taken down, because how does he go from Dolton to Munster? And we gonna track his ass down. And you got connections. You see what I'm saying? Everything. I don't find joy in this situation. Y'all see it bring tears to my eyes. But we're gonna get the best out of this and make sure that this man does not move or breathe without us
On his neck.
on his ass. Okay.
Yep.
So I think we shared enough. We've been on for an hour or so. This was actually
Yes, and if I got people coming to the door like,
good.
like you lucky I kept the grandbaby at bay.
I love you. I know you had to rush in, but I definitely wanted to make sure that we get this out there because we got some maneuvering to do and some pressure to put on these people. So go ahead and get to your grandbaby.
Yes.
I love you. You have
Love you, sis. You guys have a great evening. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, ma'am. All right, guys. I want to gotta thank Carver for coming tonight. She has been an amazing. She's not a guest. That's my sister. This town hall was actually set up for her because I know that at one point it was really hard to get her information or get this story out, and I'm so grateful that it's actually picking up steam. Now, Chicago Tribune, and we may have another news article, news station or two come out. So we're going to share that with you as well. The petition. I'm going to share the petition with you guys real quick. This petition is my petition. The petition is this petition I'm showing y'all is going to be going with the letter that I am sending. I sent a series of letters. It's not going to be the letter. It is a series of letters. So I have a strategy to what I do. You see what I'm saying? So I get in contact with them, first point of contact, get to know them like, hey, I'm looking for this, looking for that. They see I'm coming. Then all of a sudden, when I can't get what I need, then I start gunning a little bit deeper with the law, saying some things is weird. Then I get my backup to come and help me legally, the law, the legal, the lawyers, okay, defense. And that's kind of where we're at. But as I move forward and we pray I get a date for a judicial review. I don't know if it's going to be online, in person, whatever it is. I have some money on my JetBlue. I can just fly out there. Now, I ain't got to drive, but I like driving. I will be out there because what's happening is that we're being roadblocked and I'm not able to get the second report. Okay. Now, just to let you know how I do my things so I can show you guys how I do my research, maybe to build more credibility. I don't just move forward on one set of facts. Because I have the police report from Dolton Police does not mean that that is the facts and that's God. Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm just using that for example. Because another investigation was done by the Illinois State Police, it is very pertinent for me to have that and compare the two to see who was involved, who was who said what. I see many flaws that's in the Dolton Police report, and we will read that to you guys. We're not going to do it tonight, but we're going to read that to you, praying that I'll be able to compare and contrast. I was holding it because I want to compare and contrast to the Illinois State Police report. So if I'm not able to do that before the end of the month, we're going to read to you the actual Dolton Police report, because you're going to see the officers that's involved, which highlights Officer Staples. I'm going to highlight you. I don't know you, but your name is always coming up a lot, Officer Staples. And some people around you have been telling tales about you. And if I find out that the tales is right and it has to do with my baby girl, I'm going to come for you, Mr. Staples. I'm so sorry. It is what it is, because if you come down for one, you're coming down for everybody. So there are 5 officers involved in this, not just the 2 that we keep talking about. So we're going to be highlighting that, going to highlight their contradiction of statements, how things doesn't make sense. And we're going to show you how to go over a report and find the holes in it, because that's what I do. That's what I do. I look through things. I'm like, oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. We got to fix it. And then we fix the most important thing. Then we move down like that. This is systematic. So this is what I'm doing. Now we at 121, y'all. I'm so happy. Y'all like 121. That ain't nothing. People get thousands of views, thousands of signatures. Listen, I'm grateful for the little bit, okay? Y'all understand, okay, what I came from. It was like a rose that grew from concrete, for real. 121 people have signed this, and it's to help to get Officer Perez license revoked. Kill a cop. As you hear what they said, oh, he has qualified immunity, which I wanted to bring up at the time. How do officers have qualified immunity? According to even the Illinois State Handbook, they have procedures to follow to de-escalate and to be public servants to do as less harm as possible. And with that goes to say, the contradiction with that goes to say, then they give them a wide range of perspective of how to determine what is a threat. You see what I'm saying? So there's things in these police handbooks that you guys need to pay attention to. That's what makes them do what they do and maybe go forward to get those changed. That's some of the things that I'm bringing up in my letters. Say, hey, this is what he said he was supposed to do. This was the scope of practice. This was the situation. Realistically, they don't want me to get into it. That's why Miss Carr was like, oh, yeah, she going to approach it systematically. I'll be like, wait a minute, y'all. Everybody, stay focused. Stay focused. Even in the meetings that we used to have, we have, I'll be like, okay, so that's what we're doing here. I ask for you to please sign. I don't care how long it takes to get to 5,000. I think by the time we get to 5,000, I'll probably be on my third series of letters to them and probably already at a judicial review. And then I will be able to recontact the Illinois licensing board, and I'm going to engage, as I'm telling y'all my steps right now, the Illinois licensing board. I already engaged with them. They already told me, his hours, if he's working, where they at. They're the one who verified it because Monster was just lying. Once they told me, I emailed Monster like, you lied. And then she got right back to me, oh, guilty ass clerk. He was guilty as hell. She got right. Well, we heard him on 1013. I said, okay. So I'm going to engage them this weekend. I actually just got the Indiana police code of conduct and their procedures. So now I can learn about Indiana. Okay. I'm not about to play. I'm not writing no letters to them until I know their laws. I'm about to put their codes in there. I'm about to sock it to their asses. Y'all know I ain't got nothing to do. Y'all know I do got a lot to do, but I just like this. So this is what I'm going to be working on. Now, we're going to be getting off tonight. What I want to show y'all, if y'all are interested, is the letter that I wrote to Kim Fox, okay? Because these signatures are going to go to Kim Fox. You see, I got a plan where that checklist is, where that signatures, where they go. Oh, I got a whole plan, baby. And I want y'all on the mailing list so I can keep y'all aware of any other police brutalities or wrongful death or whatever I follow up with as time go on. I know that y'all don't think that I'm just stopping at Dolton. I know y'all don't think that I'm just going to stop at Dolton. No, that's not going to happen. But I'm not leaving Dolton and Thornton right now. I'm be hitting them with the facts. So let's get to this letter that I wrote to Kim Fox and the Illinois Special Investigation Unit, the Integrity Task Force Unit. Okay, it's about a 7-minute video, and then we're going to sign off for this beautiful night. And I'm going to say to you before we get off that I want you guys to have a beautiful, beautiful. What is this? Okay, hold on. I want you guys to have a beautiful, beautiful Sabbath. May God be with you guys. You stay positive, stay sucker free. You already know what to do. Ask questions, make they ass uncomfortable. How about that? So let's listen to this as we get off tonight.
Today, we will be doing a brief recap on the Alexis Wilson case. A couple of months ago, it was brought to my attention of a disturbing cover-up that has taken place in Dolton that has been headed by our infamous mayor, Miss Tiffany Kingard. So today, what we're going to
with your broke ass.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election
2013?
for trustee.
And that
I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Term is 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
People of God, what was a mind-blowing experience? That I found out that I am Negro, therefore I'm part of the Igbo tribe, therefore I am the original family of, original God's people, the Israelites, the Hebrews that God set apart from everybody on earth, gave us land.
My people haters up in Christianity church since a baby. Born up in that sin, but they ain't know that's how they raised me. They got lied to, then passed the lie to the baby. The devil made me quote that lie like it was thrown from Brady. Pastor worrying about his Mercedes. Preach you gon' get blessed without the law, end up in Hades. Go and read 1 John 3:22. Proverbs 28:9, the precept it too. Put on that dress, you a queen, you a lady. Wrap up your head, you a secret like the 80s. Matter of fact, you the apple of his eye. If he ain't trying to save your soul, let him fly. I'm a king, but I'm a servant to the Father. Get on my knees, I kiss my hands like it's his feet. Keeping commandments, they like what happened to me. I was blind, Carla, now I can see. He woke us up, he touched me and he touched Bree. With Reba Root 228, that really did it. We was crying at that table, I admit it. Go repent, we gotta ask him for forgiveness. For our sins and our ancestors too. Ye have not chosen me, I chosen you. Need to go out in the world, better fruit. 3 John 1:4, tell me what it do to you. Each Sunday morning, missing my mama sing. For the Father, I give up everything. And still my mama, I'm a honor, I'm a king. If you ain't strong, don't you jump up in this ring. I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. And your sons and daughters, they gon' prophesy. Hey, there that scripture right here, right in your eyes. You know I love you, I just want my people right. 80 years old, he still call himself a color. If I don't tell you who you is, I ain't your brother. In them churches, they be screaming hallelujah. But they ain't gonna tell you that you from the tribe of Judah.
You black people